That was then, this is now by S.E. Hinton. The story begins when Mark and Brian go to the bar to play pool and drink soda. Eminem, Brian's friend, was about to be beaten up by a gang until Brian and Mark joined the fight. Mark and Brian went to visit their mom at the hospital. Brian met a girl named Kathy and met a beat-up kid, Mike. Mark and Brian went to visit their mom at the hospital. Brian met a girl named Kathy and met a beat-up kid, Mike. When Brian and Kathy were on their first date, Mark was hit in the head with a bottle. Mark, the next day, went to his school and stole the principal's car. After Mark and Brian went to play pool and won, the Texans pulled out their guns and led Brian and Mark into an alley. Charlie went to save them and ended up saving Brian and Mark and a bullet to his head. Brian picked up Kathy. She said that Eminem was smoking marijuana. Eminem would accept anything. Peter picked up Mark and went to look for Eminem and found him at the bowling alley. They later dropped him off at a hot dog stand to see his friend. Kathy asked if he was going to be picked up. Eminem told Kathy that he was never going home. He told Brian where Eminem was, and Brian was drunk when they got home. Mark and Brian went to an old part of town, pulled into a driveway, and found a place called Love. Many hippies lived there and smoked pot and other drugs. Nights later, Kathy and Brian went to look for Eminem. They returned to Love and found Eminem. Eminem looked terrible and had LSD from drugs. They brought Eminem to the hospital. Brian thought about all the stuff Mark sold, including drugs. He called the cops and Mark was arrested. Kathy and Brian broke up. Mark went into trial. Mark admitted everything about drugs and went to jail. Brian visited Mark and they were no longer brothers. Brian lived a good life but wanted to go back when he was a kid, when he had all the answers. I like this book because it had a lot of drama and action. Many events involved fights and saving Eminem that had LSD.